As they played the scene, and we watched as our characters made out in front of us, she turned to me and says with the creepiest look on her face, "Don't forget to hit subscribe and smack that bell button to become an honorary Fear Razor member so that you never miss a video."
So don't let the title of this story confuse you. It's exactly how it sounds. Now, I don't know how familiar some of you guys are with this about me, but I like to voice act, as I'm sure you've noticed or potentially seen in some previous work I've done here on YouTube. What can I say? I love it. Well, allow me to tell you a story that took place at my very first professional voice acting gig. That didn't happen too long ago, actually, so let's get into it.
So this story takes place back about a year ago when I lived in Toronto, Canada. A wonderful city with many great opportunities for all walks of life, but apparently for me, that wasn't really the case. I had just finished film school and of course also doing YouTube on the side. I wanted to really try and push this whole voice acting agenda into overdrive. I've done a lot of voice acting on many pieces of content that have gone incredibly viral over the years, and I was hoping that with some kind of success on those projects, I could use it as leeway to help me get into some actual professional voice acting gigs, because I just really wanted to do more than just YouTube all the time, to be honest. After tireless and successful efforts with finding an opportunity to get a chance at voice acting for an actual production, I had finally run into some luck. One of my teachers who happened to know about my YouTube and desired to voice act in my film school had gotten in touch with me. He had told me about a friend of his who was a producer and happened to be a bit of a celebrity himself, who was interested in getting me in on a voice acting opportunity for a big budgeted cartoon movie. I, of course, was head over heels to hear about this and was ready to get to work.
You know, these days it's actually very difficult to be a part of a legitimate production, let alone movie, when you are not only lacking in professional experience, dare I say it, when you don't live in Hollywood. It's just facts. It's facts. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but Toronto is pretty poppin' in terms of the film industry and Hollywood, but the thing that took 3 years for me to realize is that Toronto is more of a set than it is another Hollywood. And that was a hard pill that I had to swallow. But hey, you live and you learn.
So my teacher gave me the producer's contact and we got in touch. He actually had asked me if I had a female friend I could bring along into the production, as well as they were also looking for a female voice actress for a certain role as well. So I brought a good friend of mine to come along with me. So we both met up, went downtown Toronto, and got in an Uber to the studio.
I'll never forget the feeling I got when I first stepped out of that Uber, when I stood in front of that studio. Just the idea knowing that here I was, I was attending my first professional gig. This was no YouTube video, okay? This was real, this was legit. This was super legit. I mean, YouTube videos are real, but this was like really real. And as you can tell, I was very thrilled about it.
So we go into the studio and meet this famous celebrity who happened to be a producer for an award-winning animated film in Canada, which, by the way, was astounding to say the least, and he brought us down the hall into the studio recording booth. I also quickly found out that this studio in Toronto was the same studio where they filmed a lot of effects and audio for the Saw franchise, if you're, into horror stuff, so that's pretty awesome. So here we are in this big studio booth with a TV in the middle of the room, a mic, a pile of water bottles, and a few people at the workstation. The director for the movie, the sound director, the assistant director, and what we would soon discover, the producer's niece. After having a few friendly chats, we had begun to start working. There was a couch on the side with another TV in front of it for the cast of the film to sit as we all took turns voice acting on the one mic they had in the studio. They actually had some Canadian celebrities step in to do some retakes as they were scheduled around the same time that we happened to be there, so that was a pretty awesome opportunity to meet them as well as be a part of this production, so hey. Alongside myself and my friend, who I brought with me, there was the producer's niece, who was a little awkward and quiet, but she was here to voice act as well. So in a strange way, we felt some sort of connection with her.
I also really just want to quickly add on here about the really strange experience I felt professionally acting for the first time. You know, going in there and not knowing anybody, but yet still somehow feeling a connection between everyone because we're all kind of working together on this project, you know, and we're all bringing it to life was just an incredible feeling. And going in there knowing this made me feel a lot more comfortable. And I just had this looming question of like, is this how actors feel when they go on set and they meet other actors for the first time? I don't know, but I definitely feel like it was a feeling worth mentioning.
After many hilarious takes that myself, my friend, and the producer's niece had while taking turns voice acting, all three of us quickly bonded, to which I learned more about this girl and how at this moment she had told us that she's the niece of the producer. So up until that point, we didn't know.
Now this is where things get interesting.
So in one of the scenes that required some voice acting work, there was essentially a bunch of people in a high school hallway getting burned alive by acid from a zit monster.
Don't ask.
One of the scenes involved a couple making out while all this was happening in the scene. The director of the movie asked who wanted to voice these two characters, who again were getting some crazy makeout action going on. I, with much regret, rose my hand and said I would voice as the guy. So I went up to the mic, and you guessed it, had to make a lot of awkward makeout noises. And I mean a lot.
Do you have any idea how uncomfortable it is to make those kind of noises in front of a live audience over and over and over again? I must have been up at that booth for 6 minutes just making sloppy, kissy makeout noises while these people just were like, oh, could we get a little more slurp? Could we get a little more lip? A little more tongue action? But I mean, they were impressed, you know. I make some pretty good kissy noises, if I say so myself.
But in my efforts, I did, and with grace, walked back to the couch. Now it was one of the girls' turns to also make kissing and makeout noises at the mic, and to be honest, between my friend that I brought with me and the producer's niece, I was hysterically hoping it would be my friend because that would have just been hilarious. But as they were both asked to go do so, the niece rose her hand and she said she would do it. I, of course, was just sitting there, awkwardly watching this all unfold. So she went up there fearlessly and, well, you guessed it, made a ton of makeout noises, and man, she got into it. Myself and my friend were literally just on the couch, eye open and fighting to hold in our laughter, as this was a pretty serious production, but man, was that hard. So after she was done, she came down to the couch, the sound director quickly edited the audio to the scene, and well, we were about to watch the exact scene we both just voiced in. After hitting play, the scene of the two couples making out had come to life with myself and my producer's niece's voice.
Oh man, was I uncomfortable. You know, you never really go into a production thinking that things are gonna just turn out the way they did in this scenario, but I quickly learned that's not always the case. But now this is where things get a little weird.
As they played the scene, and we watched as our characters made out in front of us, she turned to me and says with the creepiest look on her face, "You see that? That's us." When I woke up that morning for this opportunity, I can assure you this was not how I thought things would turn out. I was getting some pretty weird vibes from this girl the entire time we were filming, and well, after that moment, I think I knew what was going on here.
Now, something I didn't really mention earlier was that not only was I picking up flirty vibes from this girl, but also the fact that she was 16! I don't think so! I'm out! Sayonara! I'll see you guys in the credits! Peace out! I'm gone! I am not okay with that! But anyways, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this story, and just to kind of help prove that this actually all happened, here's a picture of me when I was actually at the studio filming for this movie, so hey. But either way, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I do hope you guys are enjoying this new step up in content. I've got a lot of awesome stuff coming your way. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and look forward to more great content. Alright guys, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!